personally, this is my take. Okay, this is my take. If the person you wronged or any public figure you wronged is forgiven you, then other people should not be offended.
We're consuming so many things all at once, and we sometimes forget to be the human behind the screens.
But you also have to question, like, may motives ba yung tao that claim this? Oh my God, I found Noah's Ark. Oh my, like, yun yung sobrang, like, pupunta ako sa profile nila, I blocked those people,
So it's a substitute for you reading books, and it's the easier way of learning.
I think you need to have a wild imagination sometimes if you want to be a creative.
With a question like that, meaning of life, do you think there's an end-all answer to it? Are you open to tell the Creative Flip podcast listeners what your meaning of life is?
Overrated. Okay.
Yeah.
Everything Apple makes. Overrated. I think our host has left the building. I am now the host for the Creative.
Okay, welcome to the Creative Flip. It's your host, Deejay Pile. Before I introduce my guest for today, I just want to give you a heads up. The audio quality of my microphone is not at its best. I didn't get to calibrate my microphone properly before recording, and I just figured it out after recording, and I feel so bad because we had a really good conversation about tech podcasts, cancel culture, and how we juggle everything as a one-man band. I didn't want to scrap it. It was a really good conversation, and I'll make sure this audio mistake doesn't happen again. That's on me, and it's also nice that you guys are in the loop with my mistakes about this podcast. So anyway, introducing my guest, we've been friends all the way back in high school. He's now taking up his second degree in De La Salle University. He's a writer, rapper, and more recently, he's got his own podcast called The Meaning of Life. I've been on there, and it's now his time to be on mine. So this is an exciting episode. This is the Creative Flip, and enjoy the show. This is Mr. Tristan Delentano. How are you, bro?
How am I, bro? How are you, bro? So what's the meaning to your life, bro?
I think I was telling you a while ago. I think this energy is unmatched.
How am I? I'm mourning. That's why I'm wearing black. You're also wearing black inadvertently. I am in mourning because my team, the Phoenix Suns, have lost yesterday their chance to win the NBA championship. Anyway, what a wonderful introduction. Yes, I am double degree. We have known each other since 2012, and I hated you before.
Yes, I actually mentioned 2012 because that was the year that you were secretly trash talking or commenting in my YouTube videos about CSA stuff, and then you were like, what was your username before?
In YouTube?
Yeah.
In YouTube. The Mystical Phoenix, bro. I think that's
Mystical Phoenix. Because I just remember it so... It felt like it was like a year ago when you were trash talking my precious Uno Galactico videos. So...
Oh yeah, bro, you deserve the trash. I'm not gonna lie.
Indeed?
No,
Question mark?
I'm just kidding.
No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, it's pretty interesting to have you on the podcast because I'd consider you also a one-man band because many people not really say or call me a one-man band, but it's really the juggle of different priorities and different creative endeavors. So you have a lot of things in your plate, like what I mentioned a while ago. Like how do you begin? How do you make it happen with all the things in your plate and you're studying?
Yeah. Okay. A lot of people say the first step is always the hardest step. to being a creative. There's some truth to that, I guess, when you mentioned like, you know, being, you know, making all these things happen, making all these things work. But I would argue the second step is actually harder than no, the next step is always harder than the last step, regardless of which step chronologically you're in. So I mean, it was easy for me. Like if to answer your question, like it was easy for me to start all these things. Like I just started, for example, I said okay, I want a song on Spotify because you know, it's not that simple to have a song. It's not as simple as putting it on YouTube. Not everyone can do. So having it put on Spotify before at least that like a few years ago, there was like, whoa, bro, he's on Spotify.
Big
So
deal,
now
yeah.
I wanted that. I wanted to say like, parang, pero yung rights na. I didn't have like a message to send or something. Doon nag-start. But then it evolved into like, okay, I'm gonna do this anyway. What do I wanna rap about? What do I wanna make a song about? You know. So that's where it all really begins for me actually. Sometimes for very selfish reasons, I guess, or meaningless reasons. Na parang, yeah, I just wanna do it because I wanna, you know, say I did it. Parang kunyari, a podcast. I was just bored. I was just bored. I was in quarantine. I wanted to talk to people because I couldn't talk to people. I was kind of sick of talking to the same 4 people at home or like 5 people at home. So sabi ko, I need to have an excuse to like talk to people at long lengths, like about like random stuff I want to talk about. So yun.
So more like it's the
yeah.
satisfaction of creating something.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
satisfaction of putting something out there that is of value to others. Yes.
And it's interesting because you were able to find that value for people. Because normally, like for me, when I write a lot of songs, like I just end up just writing it for myself. I don't get to release it. And I think that's one of the crucial stages then is actually letting go of your work and then finally putting it out there. And I'd argue that, you know, as creatives, there are many other better ideas out there, but not everyone gets to do it, or everyone gets to put it into action. And it's interesting because from one podcast host to another, I now get to understand the struggles of making a podcast and, you know, making it a one-man band production, but also putting value to the end consumer or the viewer and all. And about podcasts, I didn't get to ask you this when I went in your show, The Meaning of Life. What type of podcast are you into?
What type of podcasts? Initially before, like, I just, you know, educational podcasts. Yung pinapakinggan ko lang talaga dati before was like TED podcasts. I don't know. If you know TED
Is that
Talks,
is that technically a podcast? Or is that another podcast? Because I listen to lots of their YouTube videos.
Yeah.
It's technically...
So may podcast form sila.
Yeah.
Yeah, may podcast form sila sa Spotify. So yun talaga yung una kong mina-marathon dati. Like, dude, I sound like a nerd or like someone trying hard to be like, you know, a role model or something. Pero yun talaga ginagawa when I'm bored. Kasi naglalakad lang ako papuntang school. So I put in my earphones and then I just put a random TED Talk from Spotify. Tapos yun lang pinapakinggan ko going, like walking to school. I walk to Lasal. That's how near my house is to my university. So yun. And I would say the most influential, I guess, podcast sa akin, my personal take was Joe Rogan. Though, ayun nga, because I have to be biased. I love that guy. I don't agree with everything he says. But
he's one of the best interviewers in the world. Would you argue that?
Yeah. I would say he is, kasi he really brings out, he really extracts the conversation,
the thought process of the
yes.
the person he's talking to. Diba? It's not like not more like a journalistic way that you're looking for the specific points. It really is finding the fluid thought process of the one he's talking to. It's pretty interesting now that you mentioned it. Like podcasts as a medium, you use it as a filler in the void of you walking to school, and
Mm-hmm.
I actually think the same way. Like that's why I started the podcasts page in my life is when I was watching videos, video podcasts. Actually, I started with that, and then I used it as a filler for the times that I don't feel like I'm learning anything, because I find it important for me to always feel like I'm learning something new every day, or even more every day. Like I like the feeling of learning something, and
Yeah.
podcasts really opened that idleness, and it made it more purposeful. So even if I'm just doing
Mhm.
like a random Photoshop job or something, instead of playing music, which I always do, but I feel good when I listen to different perspectives and all.
Yeah. I know it's something
Mm.
preferential kasi I know a lot of people. I mean, I know I'm sure siguro a bunch of people listen to podcasts for like entertainment and like to get, to be entertained ganon. I don't. Like personally, I don't.
Okay.
I listen to podcasts not primarily for entertainment but for educational purposes and like learning. Yung mga podcasts na pinapakinggan ko, mga history, mga how the world works, ganon.
So it was
Or like,
it's a substitute for you reading books, and it's the
yeah.
easier way of learning, right?
It's a
Mm-mm.
substitute-ish because I still read, but it's a augmentation, more of an addition. Ganun.
What makes you prefer reading over like audio books or something like that? What's the different feeling? Because I'm not a reader, and I think it's more that opinion of yours with text versus audio seems more important.
Have you ever finished a book, Mr.
Yes,
Pile?
yes, sir,
For
of
a
course.
school requirement.
No, for sure, yeah, for sure.
Holes?
I
Holes?
no
Hoot?
fucking
Ano?
holes. No. One of the
No
latest
limitang here,
books that
I
I
bet.
got I got to finish was a book si Mr. Mac Atanasio recommended. It's the Tuesdays with
this?
Maury. It's a pretty good book.
That's great.
Yeah.
Bro, life
So
lessons.
so that was a category na I admired, na I was able to, in my own pace, go page to page. Unlike if it's a podcast or an audiobook, na it's tempting to just click the pause button every time you're like busy or something, but having the
Yeah.
commitment to finish like chapters 1 to 3, I think that's how I see it. But to you, is
Yeah.
there like any difference?
Yeah, for real, there's a big difference. A reading, I find to be generally more relaxing for me. Kasi, I would consider myself as a person who has a very wild imagination. I think you need to have a wild imagination sometimes if you want to be a creative. So, kunyari nagbabasa ako, I really let my imagination flow and kontrolado ko kung ano yung nakikita ko sa isip ko.
Mm-mm.
To some extent, I can. But kunyari audio, ganun. Like, it's contained already to the functions of where it is and who's talking and who's delivering the thing. But with reading, I find it to be like, refreshing kasi the words are translated into my brain by myself, not by another
Mm-mm.
person.
What
makes
I
sense.
remember making a short essay before about books versus comics or movies in particular. Like, how do you want to consume such material? Do you want to consume it via movies or via text? Because my argument is, if you want to be that translator of those ideas, so like for example, if you were to read Tuesdays with Maury, do you want to imagine how Maury looks? That, I think that's more of an experience if you prefer that. But if it's, because I'm a visual learner and a visual guy, so I'm always picturing the next how I would do it in film or something like that. So with video, it's already given to you. It's already translated by the director. Nothing wrong with it. It's just if you're that type of person that wants to consume or translate it yourself, I think that's the way to go for people like you, maybe.
Yeah, for real.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I feel like definitely ang laki na ng space na take up ng movies and film and all
Mm-mm.
those stuff in our society today, like in our world today. And books really have lessened, diba? Less people read now, I guess. I'm thinking. I don't have statistics in my mind. Than like, let's say, 200 years ago, 300 years ago, ganun. But I don't think books will ever go away. Because of that reason nga. Because it is such
Mm.
a, it still serves that purpose of, being a medium for people to like disappear into and escape to. So yun. Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
well, that's also the beauty of books, podcasts, and audiobooks. I
Uh-huh.
think these platforms or mediums, they're the gateway to the mind of the individual reading. So like if you want to know a person by more than their personality of how they interact with you, I think it's important to figure out what they're into with the podcasts or the music or the books that they read, because it measures the type of thinker you are or the type of thinker you want to be.
Yeah, 100%.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Now, with that thought process, the meaning of life, I know you mentioned a while ago it was more of a filler of like you being bored at home. But what do
Yes.
you think is the what I know your structure is at the end you always ask the guest what the meaning of life for them is. What's the structure behind it? Like, is it really anything under the sun, or because everything in life is a bunch of stories and stories make up life? So what do you think of what
Yeah,
your
and
process
what
is
are
here?
stories, right? Like, what are stories? Can you contain really stories in a specific theme or a specific umbrella of topics? I don't think so. So ako, I made it the meaning of life para
Mm-mm.
may central theme-ish purpose, ganun direction as to where I want the thing to go. Like, okay, I didn't want it to name like the Tristan Tano podcast. Like, what the hell? That doesn't have like a ring to it, diba? Um, and I really do want to talk to people about life. It started out as boredom, but it grew into like, yeah, I want to extract these thoughts from people, yung wisdom ng tao, because I believe everyone has some sort of innate, ingrained wisdom sa isip nila, in their minds, in their souls, and I want to like bring that out of people, kasi we all look at life at a certain angle, and we all are experts in our own different lives based off of our own different experiences.
Mm-mm.
So, ang goal ko talaga is to like map these experiences together. Like, and maybe when I have like 1,000 episodes, I can go back and like compile all the meanings of life, and then that can be like a time capsule
Yeah,
to
that's
this is
actually
what
yeah.
people like. When someone asks the question like what's the meaning to life, like I just give them the fucking video file of all those compiled stuff. Now this is yan na yung meaning of life of
Because
1,000 people. I don't know.
do you really you with a question like that, meaning of life? Do you think there's an end all answer to it
Oh, definitely not, because life is different, as I mentioned, to
for?
everyone. Yeah, but ayun, and we will have different experiences as the world transforms from one age to the other, as technology advances, society forms differently. Every generation has different problems that outlines their lives and, structures their lives. Pero no, I don't think there's gonna be an answer. It's not gonna be written in some text that's 2,000 years old. It's not gonna be um in the minds of some high wizard or shaman or something. It's not gonna be stated by like motivational entrepreneur who hates Fridays or Saturdays or Sundays. It's not gonna be spewed by anyone. I think it's all very relative to each own, and no one can discredit anyone's meaning because everyone has a different life. But it's fun. It's fun to ask the question
Mm-mm.
kasi there are similarities to these answers that we're getting. There are. So there might be like a consensus what's important with the meaning of life, or like what's significant, but one particular meaning I don't think will ever come out of it. But there are definitely similarities how
No,
people see life.
I actually admire na you have the skill to actually open up that thought process with people. Because I remember the first episode that we recorded, which never aired. Uh, I was caught off guard because I didn't know. I knew what I wanted to say, but I didn't have the words for it. And then
Yeah.
the second recording, it made it more clear. And I think that's such a good thing to have, because with the creative flip, the message I want to bring out is everyone's creative. Everyone can be creatives in their lives, and
Mhm.
I want people to leave with that. And yours is very philosophical, and I think that's also very Tristantano to all of our friends, that you get to unlock that thought process with people. And with your podcast, I don't want, okay,
Yeah.
answer this if you're comfortable with it. But
If I'm comfortable,
bro,
what could
no,
this
no, no,
be?
no, no, no. But
What could this be?
But will you, are you open to tell the Creative Flip podcast listeners what your meaning of life is, or are you trying to build up to something?
I'm definitely not trying to build up to something.
Because that would,
okay,
I'm just saying, it would have been
Yeah, yeah,
genius. Like after 100 episodes, that's when you drop it, and then 101 episode, that's when you open up a new question. That would be genius.
But actually, no naman. Because I casually drop it naman sa podcast ko rin mismo minsan.
I gave you an
sometimes when
opening
it
to
comes up.
to tease it, bro.
But you know, no, I'm not gonna pretend like I'm gonna have this big answer. Because I'm not. It's a philosophical podcast, yes,
Yeah.
but I'm nowhere near like a philosopher. I'm a wannabe philosopher.
You
I'm a
never know,
student.
bro. You're still alive.
You know, people become philosophers only after they die. Joke lang. I'm kidding. What my meaning to life
Mm-mm.
is? That's a very complicated question.
So now you know
I
what it
guess-
feels like to be your guest.
Yeah.
Nung
Not
first
able to-
episode talaga, I got pressured. Like, I had like 10-second silence of not saying anything. Anyway, go on.
Ayun, pero yun nga. The meaning definitely is somewhere along the lines of, because we live life in this balance. I would say the balance of destiny and freedom, or destiny and free will. Because we do have, like, we are given. I'm gonna say given in quotes, because like we are given free will by a force beyond us, something definitely we can't control. We believe we have free will because we make choices, make these decisions that are ourselves, and that constitutes our life. But there are so many other things in our life that we can't control, and I call that destiny. Like, for example, when you were born, can you control that? Not really. Where you were born, definitely can't control that. Who you were born with, what family you were born into, how rich you are when you were born, what country you live in when you were born, what you like. Is that really a choice? I'm not sure if that's a choice. I think it's some sort of maybe preference, maybe bringing up, like your parents bringing you up, you
Mm-mm.
get influenced in like a direction. Maybe it's in your like biological chemicals in your brain. I don't know, but for me, it's not a choice. Like what you like, if you're, for example, your sexual preference, your dream career, dream job. I don't think there's really a choice to that, diba? So we make choices that are framed within things, greater things that were never our choice to begin with. So do we actually have freedom? So my meaning to life is, like, life is this balancing act of like freedom and destiny that we can't control, but we also can to a certain degree. And what's left for us is to like enjoy the ride, enjoy the tipping scales of like the battle of these two concepts, and just make the most of what we have and deal with the cards we're dealt with. So yun.
That's it. I felt like
That's
Joe
it.
Rogan listening to Kanye West when you were
Kanye
saying all of that, bro. But,
Closed on Sunday.
bro, that's such a
Oh.
Tristan Tano answer. Well, actually, I understand it. It's more like you're very precise with how you explain it. And you're a storyteller. You have your own books, diba? Well, let's leave it at that.
Try.
The meaning of life for Tristan Tano is a balancing act. Okay, so this is the very first creative pitch break. So for this creative pitch, Mr. Tristan Tano, what song do you want people to listen to?
What song?
Or album,
If there
or
was
artist?
one song
Yeah.
or artist, I'm gonna go off the rails here and say you should listen to Deejay Pile.
Okay, I think that's a good pitch. Nah, I'm kidding. Go.
He has a few songs up there. One time he was confused with his K-pop artist. He definitely did not mean to do, but it served him well in the algorithm.
Hey.
He's gonna keep
I
it.
have to give that 30k streams credit to them, to the K-pop fans, but the rest are authentic because that's what the Spotify app says. Anyway, go on. What's that creative pitch?
Okay, if there's one person I want like people to really listen to, and I think he's very special, posthumously, I would say this rapper named Mac Miller. I know it's not of DJ's taste to listen to Mac Miller, but I really love that guy. He's a,
Hey, I
he's a
listen to him.
storyteller.
Not as deep as you, but yeah.
He's a storyteller. He doesn't really trick that much in his songs. He's very genuine in what he wants to deliver. He's kind of like a chiller, more raw, I guess. Like a chiller, more relaxed version of Chance that is less, and more
The less I love my wife.
The less of that and a whiter version of him. But Mac Miller, man, he has songs that have really, brought me out of tough places, tough positions, because that's just what he does. Like sometimes you just can't explain how music leaves an impact on you, but that's just what it is. So if I have one person to I very much recommend, that's Mac.
Overrated, underrated products. Off the top of your head. Most overrated tech right now.
Overrated. Okay.
Yeah.
Everything Apple makes. Overrated. I think our host has left the building. I am now the host for
Now-
Creative Flip. Oh, there you
I must pretend I accept your opinion, but I don't.
No, I'm kidding. I have an iPhone right here. I can't really.
That part will be cut out of the podcast. I'm kidding. Go. But yeah, is that your answer?
No, I'm just kidding. Some overrated tech, definitely. I would say, siguro less hardware, more software. Stop using Microsoft Teams, guys. If you can use anything else apart from Microsoft Teams,
That sounds like a
Use it.
frustration.
yes, because why would you use Microsoft Teams? It's the most popular na hindi user friendly in comparison to everyone else.
And-
I mean,
Yeah?
I know, like I know people before, at least before, they were advocating for why not Discord? Let's make Discord, the school channels for like online learning. But I get why it's not, because of it has a learning curve, diba? Nung una kong napag-aralan in Discord, I didn't quite understand it at first. I mean, it took me
nobody understands it the first.
Yeah. It took me a
so
couple of
hard.
tries. Like, what do these buttons do? So many buttons. But once you get the hang of it, it seems easy, and you forget like the learning curve that you went through. But ayun, it's definitely overrated for me.
Dude.
Microsoft Teams, my God.
Well, good luck, because when Windows 11 drops, Microsoft Teams is built in, and it's, you know what they're trying to do? They're trying to make it like the iMessage for Windows, and they're aggressively putting it in front of all the apps. So you get, because Microsoft Teams, it's, when you think about it, it's work. You wanna meet with people you work with, and yung mga meetings ganun. Pero what they did in their promos, they're making it feel like you wanna chat with this friend, go Microsoft Teams. Like, that's unrealistic. And I don't know with Microsoft. I just feel like they should. They also own Skype. Why didn't they do that?
Yeah.
Right?
What happened to Skype, man?
Skype
They
was
had
like the
such a
top of the
large-
game.
Yeah, they had such a large head start.
Yeah.
Zoom? Kasi ngayon, Zoom is like the man, diba? Like video conference.
Yeah.
Zoom. But, what the hell happened to Skype? I don't even know. I'll research about it
I
later.
feel
Pero,
like it's because Microsoft touched them.
so
yeah,
sad. Ay,
'cause-
nako, Bill. Ay, nako, Bill.
You don't blame Bill anymore, bro. He's not in the. He's now a
Yeah.
philanthropist, diba? He's saving the world.
Yeah. He's doing all these
Now,
research stuff.
well, for me, overrated for me, generally, just phones. I don't.
Phones.
I don't think like looking into a screen. It's just overrated for me, because I know the next step is, everything's just floating in the air. It's going to be AR, VR glasses. You don't need to hold your phones. Everything's gonna be wearable with the watches and all. I feel like phones will be obsolete, and when Apple gets to or another company that dictates the flow of the industry, when one of those big companies says, let's make working AR VR glasses, and the functions of the phone you can literally do by just looking out in the open, and it pops up in your wall or something like that. That's the next iPhone moment, because everything changed when the iPhone dropped, and
Everything did. Yeah.
so hopefully when the real glasses of like what Google did with Google Glasses, but I explained it before, the reason why Google Glasses didn't work is because they didn't train the public. It was too awkward for you to wear. But now the apps, the AR, VR, Snapchat filters and all that, we're slowly learning how to do it, and I think it's just overrated phones. But we still need it right now, and hopefully we'll get those classes. Now for underrated. Underrated tech. Yeah. What's just to go against?
What's new?
Well, for me,
Underrated.
probably underrated than phones, because phones are very powerful. They could be like the portable computer, like the real portable computer that could do more. I mean, it already does a lot, but I mean, I'm no engineer, but I think it could be stretched even more. But underrated
Yeah, but our phones, are more powerful
than ever.
Not only ever, pero our phones right now, like the ones in our hands, are more powerful than the computers that powered,
The moon,
the moon landing,
the moon landing,
the creating of like all the freaking Star Wars movies or something, and those are something at the time. Pero yun, something definitely. I mean, phones, as much as we like it or not, they're like a staple in everyone's lives. Those who are, of course, blessed enough to have them siguro in our social sphere. And you kind of get punished right now, diba, if you don't have one. Kasi with like the work environment, with the school environment,
Education, work. Yeah.
you
It's a
need to
necessity
always
now.
be notified. It really is. It really is a necessity. And if you don't have a phone, parang ikaw pa yung malalagot. Like, oh my God, I didn't see this. I didn't see it. Oh, my homework pala, or like my message pala from
Remember
this
our-
guy or this guy. Yeah.
Our old, some of our friends, close friends, they didn't have Facebook before. And then at that time, it was like, how could you get announcements and all? Because with class announcements
Yeah.
back in high school. But imagine now, like, I know you know more about that. But
Yeah. But our
Mm.
close friend before, she has this good carpet business. Is very happy right now. So I don't think she has a problem with accounts in
and
Facebook.
now she's heavy on TikTok. Anyway, my underrated tech is probably, Snap spectacles.
Yun yung Google Glass ng Snapchat, di ba? Yun ba
It
yun? Parang
technically
version-ish.
it's like that, but the idea behind it is like I underrated yung first product nila. There's a camera in the front of their glasses.
Mhm.
And then the idea is you tap the glasses and then it records everything that you see.
Uh-huh.
And when you, because that's how I consume everything or like live life or something like that. I like documenting stuff. So
That's how you live. Life.
that's now cue the wish tone.
You have to learn how to live life without that wish stone.
It's underrated because it's fueled by my hate of looking at the screen. Like I hate looking at screens. When I document, for example, we go out with friends. I hate looking at what my friends are doing through the screen, just to make sure that the subject is in the shot. So
Okay, yeah.
I enjoy the idea of like having the glasses record for me. I know it's like some Black Mirror type shit, but one thing that also we idolize Casey Neistat, his app BEME. That I think that's underrated because the concept is you don't need to look at the screen. You just need to put it against your chest, and then it
Put
records
in your,
it.
Just place it near your nipple and then it goes.
But yeah,
I can see though, like I can see the privacy problems though with the Snapchat spectacles, diba?
yeah.
Like, I can see how it can be used for evil, or like
But-
unnecessary things.
But having a phone camera that small, it was something scary before. Like,
yeah.
right? So, probably a learning curve. That's why, di ba nga, Google Glasses didn't work. Another reason was
Yeah.
people were scared.
Yeah, saka it looked kind of silly too, di ba?
It doesn't look like we belong. It looks like it's like forcing the Cybertruck
Oh.
in 2008 or something like that, di ba? Doesn't make sense.
It won't
Yeah.
work. It won't work.
Well, kapatid din ni Beam, it hasn't died, but I also like Dispo. Mr. David Dobrik's Dispo.
It hasn't died. It hasn't died.
But
It's still there.
it's also a good segue to the next topic, but I really like the idea of like not needing to look at the screen because with Dispo, even if you can frame it, you don't judge the picture as soon as it drops. So for the people who doesn't know, Dispo's idea is it's like a disposable camera. You take a picture and then
Yeah.
9 p.m. the next day, 9 a.m. the next day, that's when your photo shows up in your feed. So
Yeah.
you have
Hindi ba ano?
Mm-mm.
Hindi ba you take a picture and then 9 a.m. the next day you get cancelled? Ganun, di ba? That's it, right? Hindi, joke
Okay,
lang.
good segue. Good segue. Anyway, I'm just sad because ever since David Dobrik left the Dispo team, it felt like my hope for that app being something of use every day. It's like an Instagram type app. It felt like it was gone because it wasn't supported by the name behind it. Because we would never know the idea of Dispo without him or like the possibility of the Kardashians using it one day. So it's just you get cancelled, man.
But I
Well,
feel like, in a practical standpoint, he still has, even though you can't really legally say that, I feel like he still has a big sway on how it goes. But siguro more behind the scenes. Because before he was like the poster child, right? So ngayon,
and probably
back na.
you never know if he jumps back into the Dispo game, diba? You never know if it's just a safe way for them to, because I think he was one of the founders of the company, and it's just interesting that he's now back. David Dobrik's back to making vlogs.
He's back vlogging every Tuesday.
Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. He's now back. And I just saw he was also hanging out with new Instagram models, back to Charlie Puth. Like he's doing stunts again. Like he's back to normal. Not as wild as before, but still wild nonetheless. But another celebrity that got cancelled is Ellen DeGeneres. And would you consider her bouncing back already? I mean, she's already back in the show, right?
The weird thing definitely about like this cancel thing, like with David, with Ellen, with Logan, with everyone else who's been canceled. There are degrees and levels to this. I would say that justifies being cancelled or not, or more so necessitates it. There are some cases definitely that I don't agree. In the case of Logan, should he have done what he did?
Definitely not, bro.
Disrespectful. Yeah, if I always try to place my feet in the shoes of the person who was like kunyari na affect. If I was the relative of that person who was, filmed in the forest, kung relative ako nung guy na yan, and then Logan, I see this YouTuber like milking that and like making all these, like nakaganon pa yung suot niya sa forest and making all these wacky facial expressions and sounds and noises, ganun, just to milk the content and like may ads pa yung video and stuff. I'd definitely be 100% offended. Saka sobrang maho-off talaga ako dun. And I'd be more than upset. Alam ko, I know kay Ellen, it was something about like
misconduct.
An unsafe workplace. Parang may misconduct sa workplace, like hindi safe space for other people. Now, there's a thing kasi, si Ellen kasi, diba, she prides herself in upholding that sort of thing. Diba? Like, being the role
all
model.
good.
Like,
the all good.
Yeah.
The saint of television and all.
Yeah, like, she exudes herself as that person who is, this is how you should be in public. And very composed, very, yung public image niya is, onti lang yung scratches, ganon. And when something that ironic, like, di ba, like, kala ko ba ganito kang tao? Pero, behind the scenes pala, there's this. But you also have to question, like, may motives ba yung tao that claim this? May motives ba yung that we can see in, like, David Dobrik's case, di ba? The main pushers of cancel David Dobrik is, like, people like Trisha Paytas, di ba? Who like, who's always wanted to cancel the guy. Like, let's not bury the elephant here. She's always wanted to cancel David. I don't know. I'm not an expert in their lives. Maybe may galit siya. I don't know. Maybe.
But she's been bringing it up for how many years?
For how many years? So many years na. And now that ngayon nagkaroon na she prowls on it, ganun. Pero there are definitely stuff David has done that's,
wrong.
Off. Yeah, that's very often quite wrong. But for me, if the person he wronged, personally, this is my take. Okay, this is my take. If the person you wronged or any public figure you wronged has forgiven you, then other people should not be offended anymore for you. For example, kung nag-away tayo because you insulted me about my skin color, you're freaking dark, Tano. Why are you like that? Why are you dark? If you insulted me like that, and let's say I get, offended, and I say, mag-tweet ako, DJ Pile is big, he's racist, okay, fine. Sure. Like, why would you say that? You wouldn't really say that. Pero, diba? But, if you came to me, you said sorry to me, we're friends, I said, okay, it's fine, it's good, it was all in jest, ganon. I don't want other people to still be be mad at you for me. I don't think that's the case. When someone does something wrong, kasi ngayon, people are very attached to I love this guy, I need to defend him, I need to stand up for him, I need to do what's right for him. Ganon. But we give less credit sometimes to it's their lives din eh. We don't know a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes, and we just have to, come to terms with that fact. Now, we're not all-knowing spectators. We don't know everytheverything. So maybe there's something going on behind the scenes na we can't really make full judgments kaagad unless my criminal case or something. Na the evidence is there.
Those two things, no, one, you're not a close spectator of things, so it's hard for you to judge. In the internet age, you know everything. You think you know everything, but in reality, we need perspective in things like this. So with Ellen, the misconduct, it sucks for television. The saint behind the, what do you call that? The talk show, daily talk show, daytime talk shows. It breaks the heart of television. But then with the case of Dobrik, he was more like an instigator of a crime, and that's another degree, diba? And that's the second degree. You're not a judge. So it's hard for us to speak out for these guys. But it's interesting because David Dobrik, I mean, he has youth by his side. He got to technically bounce back in some way. But Ellen DeGeneres, after all the cancel culture, storming against her, it just greeted her with a series ending announcement. Na they're gonna end in 2022. And I think I'm not saying it's fair or unfair, but it's just the degree of things are very different from different people. And if you listen to KSI and Logan Paul's recent podcast together in Impulsive, it was so interesting for me to hear na Logan Paul admitted, going back to Logan Paul's case, he admitted that if he did not get woken up by the wrongdoings that he did in Japan, he said he probably would have died because of how reckless he was at that time, and he just didn't give a fuck about many things. So now I'm a fan of Logan Paul because of his maturity and how he evolved throughout everything. I'm not I hated Logan Paul before. I feel like he was just like that attention grabbing YouTuber or Viner
and he
before.
Was, right?
And he was.
I see that.
So, pre-Japan didn't like him. Post KSI fight, actually, I appreciated the guy because with going back to the podcast as a medium, it was also a platform for him, for the audience and his fans who were divided, to know who he really was and if he really meant that change. And that podcast really changed him in the way na you understand the guy more. Because diba, in the internet age, you feel like you know everything, but with a podcast then, it opens that a little bit more. You don't know everything. That's impossible if you're not like a friend of Logan. But, I'm glad Logan Paul changed. Hopefully Dobrik doesn't fall into the same problem in the future again. And, one of the, you said nga before, anything that Dobrik touches is probably going to be successful.
Yeah.
And right now we don't know yet, but hopefully he uses that power for good, because not everyone has that type of power, and Dobrik has a special kind of power in the YouTube and social media space.
Yeah, and bro, if I may just add, I
Mm-mm.
think this is the difference, like the difference between Ellen and David. I think this is the difference of being a creative, actually. I mean, cause everything Ellen does, maraming involved, like production companies, media companies, all of that.
Writers,
They're
yeah.
all intertwined. Yeah, right. They have their own companies, their own publishing and everything. It's such a big system of bureaucracy. David, he can just pick up his camera and tell his own narrative, like as in, like swear, right? You can just upload to YouTube niya, and he doesn't have to, go through all these processes and satiate the needs of all these different parties. Just him.
Mm-mm.
And that's the difference between, traditional media and new media, because new media, one benefit, I mean, there's a lot of bad things, diba? Like, yung how social media is ruining people's lives and everything. But new media now is like, you can control your story if you've been wronged. Easily.
Mm-mm.
You can do that by yourself. Pero in the case of Ellen, diba? It's her show, yes, but so many other things are like, naka-connect na doon.
Masyado
and
madaming
nakarely doon.
variables.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
madaming variables, madaming stakeholders, so much. It's the tragedy of a corporate world. But ayun, that's the main difference, I guess. Like the art of bouncing back, there's more resilience that we can see now.
Now for just to close the cancel culture segment of this podcast episode, cancel culture is now. Wait lang, let me rephrase myself. Now, what does this culture need? What does the people behind these storms need? Just I for my quick answer is healthy conversation. Like, yes, it's true na you I agree then with you na once the one wrong forgives in a more cancel culture, not a crime page, pero if forgiven, the conversation is healthy because there's conversation being like behind the scenes. But for the rest of the internet, what does the culture really need behind that?
Okay. Yeah, I want to echo what you said. Pero I just want to say this first. Like, even though I hate cancel culture, I also hate like everything about it. It's like the power of the mob and stuff. The power of public opinion judging people with limited information and resources. We need it for some odd reason. We need cancel culture sometimes because there are some people who are just too powerful and too untouchable to be changed by traditional means and legal means. And I believe that's true. Like, there are a lot of people right now who would not have been exposed if not for the power of public opinion. Pero yun.
Agree.
What do we need? Healthy conversations, of course. Empathy, of course. And also with that, some level of honesty to ourselves. Like, let's not hold other people to higher standards than us. Because sometimes we idolize these people too much. Now we expect too much from them. And that is unhealthy for us and for them, because when they fall short of those expectations, we think badly of them. We try to cancel them sometimes. And that doesn't help anyone. Because you lost your idol, and the idol, lost their earnings. So parang, we need to be honest. We need to have integrity, and we shouldn't be hypocrites to that end.
Well, our emotions aren't always wrong. Like, they're not wrong, but the crimes or mistakes shouldn't go over our heads, really. But we should always keep asking, keep listening, and keep talking about it, because healthy conversation really goes a long way, especially in this time na we're consuming so many things all at once, and we sometimes forget to be the human behind the screens. So for the second pitch, Mr. Tristan Tano, what is one film or director you want everyone to watch? And don't say Zack Snyder because I know you're going to say it.
Don't watch that. Darn it. Inunahan mo ko.
You gave me the
If
look,
I
man.
were-
I had to say it.
I was hungry. Hungry to pitch it. Don't want it. Just kidding. I'm playing. I'm talking Japanese.
Army of the Dead?
Yeah.
Hey, go lang.
One film. I feel like people now have not watched much because it's kind of old. It's black and white. My favorite film of all time. It's called It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Christmas movie. It's an old movie. It's a wonderful movie. It talks basically it's a story of a man who crawls back from depression and all that, and it's happening Christmas. So heartfelt, so meaningful also. So it's just an amazing thing to watch. It always brings me to tears, the ending and everything. So yeah. Yes.
Is this a black and white film?
It is a black
Wow.
and white film. And
Okay.
it's great. I didn't even notice. I wasn't even bothered by it being black and white because everything we watch right now, diba, has color. Pero the story is just too great, and it always brings me to tears. And that's from a person who never really cries that much.
Okay, so It's a Wonderful Life. Now streaming. Nah, I'm just kidding. But just to add to the black and white thing, unpopular opinion for Justice League, because I know it's available in black and white. I wanted to watch the film in black and white first, because I wanted to appreciate the form and shape of the cinematography and all. And I don't want to be. I mean, colors complement the story and the aesthetic behind it, but there's something about admiring the shapes without the distraction of color sometimes.
Was it originally intended to be black and white though?
Well, the integrity part of that with Zack is they wanted he got to bring home one copy of Justice League, and that copy was black and white, so it felt more personal for him. But I appreciated like the grandness of it's a 4x3 film, but you see the grandness of the human shape and all with the muscles and all. It's a different level of admiration. So black and white. I'll try this out too. It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, watch it with your family, man. It's a great
Yeah.
family movie.
TikTok. You're now in TikTok.
I have
Welcome.
9 followers.
Let's
9
go.
followers. Follow me on TikTok, guys. At just
Let's
in the
go.
don't
It's
make
gonna-
content, but I might. I don't know.
Follow me, but I don't make content. So what's the point?
Being there when it first started. Early investor in the brand.
The frustration. I'm sure there's another person listening that who understands na the person who's not in TikTok, you always have to sacrifice gallery space to save the video so you can send it in Facebook chat. Now I can just send it to you in TikTok. So that's of value.
That's one value.
Yeah. Anyway, a force, dude. TikTok's a force in the social media space. And I think let's just go back to the quick history lesson lang on what happened with TikTok. So it started with Musical.ly. Do you know that? Yeah, so and actually at the same time we also had apps like Dub Smash. Do you remember
Yeah.
the Selena Gomez? She was the poster child of Dub Smash before. She was on talk shows because she had viral Dub Smashes. And it's so unique to the it's so different right now na everyone's doing what Selena Gomez was doing back in 2012 and all, and now it's normal. Before we had like Moy Moy Palaboy, you know that in the Philippine space, it was viral, but now it's just what everyone's doing. And after that, ByteDance, this company, bought TikTok, and rebranded it as TikTok already. And then the dance craze became a thing, and then it evolved to this social media platform more than dance, beyond than dance actually. Actually, if you ask a lot of people who don't know about TikTok, they always say, "Oh, it's the cringe dances. I'm not into that." So, but as soon as you start using it, you end up realizing that the algorithm is so good. And I don't know how TikTok does it, but it caters to what you want, and it keeps you scrolling for hours and hours and hours. And I'm guilty for that. And I should actually consider uninstalling the app because I've been spending too long in that app.
You need to have self-control, man. You
Bro.
need to have self-control.
I had that
Diligent.
self-control when Zack Snyder's Justice
Good
League
God.
dropped. I literally removed Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter because I didn't want to risk anything.
But you didn't remove TikTok. Ay, ay, ay.
Because TikTok before I was not in comic book TikTok. I was in the life hacks and all. So it was an awkward time for TikTok before, but now it's everything that I enjoy. So how's the algorithm for you, dude?
Okay. That's where I come in and say no, bro. That joke lang. I'm kind of. It was okay. Like a few days ago. Siguro mga 2 days ago. It was okay na. I was getting like job fulfillment stuff and like yun nga, cute stuff and like life hacks, tech tips.
Well,
you
I
know.
think it starts with that
quick-
talaga eh.
Yeah, quick Photoshop
yeah.
tips. I know, I like that.
Yeah.
That. Pero recently, I don't know why, bro. But recently, I've been getting this. Alam mo yung mga, one thing I don't like I'm.
Is this backyard against?
No. That's main little thing lang naman yan. Pero I was very skeptical over TikTok. I didn't want to go in because I knew it's like like all main apps naman. It is function to keep you on the app.
Mm-mm.
Like whatever you do, right? And TikTok most especially, I think. The one thing I don't like about it, like I like na it caters to like the public's desire to create, and dun nila dinadump lahat yun, like their desire to be famous or their desire to share something they know, like dun nila dinadump yun. But there's a lot of misinformation going around TikTok. I swear.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Every
dude.
3 or every 4 scrolls I get, like may kita ko, here's why aliens built the blank. Or like,
Hey
in 2
man,
years,
aliens.
the
If
world-
it's aliens, bro, it might be true.
I mean, goodness. Always present stuff like that in a humble and speculative manner, not in a objective, this is what happened manner. Because no one really knows. Like, if we're talking about thousands and thousands of years ago, I mean, we have detailed records naman of some stuff when writing was created, but these things like yung mga there's a force field around the moon that prevents people from going. Oh my god, man.
Well,
I'm so sick of that.
there's always 2 ways to check it. You check the comments if people like laugh with it, but then the frustrating thing is there are people who actually agree to the
100%!
information. Yeah.
Oo, yun talaga.
Yun
Yung parang,
ano eh.
oh my god, that is true. Ganun. Parang, oh my god, I found Noah's Ark. Oh my, like yun yung sobrang, like pupunta ako sa profile nila, I block those people but I feel like the algorithm reads it na, oh, you saw the video and you went to the profile. That must mean you like the video. That's why they keep showing me these videos. I want to tell TikTok, I don't like these videos.
You can click I think there's an option for that, like don't show more content like this.
Or I'll tap it straight away.
So it's like when you
Pero-
hold it, you can long press and then click not interested.
Oh my god, that's what I'll do na lang.
That's
Instead of
better because
blocking-
every time
blocking them.
if I block someone, it just automatically like removes it from my feed. So I don't know about you, dude. Like, siguro alam ni TikTok na, oh, this guy, he's triggered by TikTok. He'll stay longer in TikTok.
They're not that smart. But,
Hey, bro,
yeah,
don't
bro.
underestimate TikTok, dude. Don't. Their algorithm, I don't know, like, how they made it better than YouTube and Facebook. Ito yung theory ko eh. Correct me if you don't agree with it. My theory is, Instagram is the place for you to feel like you're an influencer. You're the celebrity in this social media space. Then YouTube is where you want to create. You're the creator, you want to be a YouTuber, it's something you aspire to be. Then TikTok is what, but right now with YouTube, it's quite hard for you to be relevant in YouTube. It's so hard for you to be the next Smosh or Mr. Beast or anything, or even the smaller ones. But TikTok, you have the tools to be everything that YouTube, what the YouTuber in you wants to be, and it automatically feeds you. So, for example, you want to be the next ninja with your clips. When I upload to Bendy the Goat, it boosts me to be like, oh, 400 people like this type of video. Oh, 16,000, and then it just spoils you, and it's a never-ending content loop.
Yeah, I mean, ayun naman talaga eh. I feel like, I don't know, bro. TikTok is a Chinese company. I feel like they tap into your history even if you don't agree with them too. That's why they make such incredibly effective.
But the algorithm is so
FYP.
good.
I think that's why. Because they go into your history and stuff and your applications and what you search for in other applications, even though you disable it. I just feel like
But
it. I just feel maybe they access your microphone and your camera and see
I
what
don't think it's just because it's
they're saying.
Chinese. I feel like it also with Facebook. There's this story. I think I remember. I'm not sure if you know the story. I was scrolling through Facebook, and then I dropped it, and then I went in front. I was talking to my friends, and then someone mentioned cards, like in the conversation in the restaurant table, and then I said, "Oh, do you
Ano
know
yan?
this guy Daniel Negreanu?" Yeah.
Ah,
And
yeah.
then it's like, oh yeah, this guy, he's good at poker. He has a master class. He's very, very good. And I learned something with the trailer and all. 5 minutes later, I open Instagram. The first ad I see, Daniel Negreanu, masterclass. How specific. And I haven't been searching anything cards related at that time. So I know, man. We should make a TikTok
Creepy.
about how they listen to us
It's
and
creepy,
say it's
bro.
true.
No, it's aliens, bro. The aliens are, we're making astral projections out of our mental conscious. I don't freaking know.
But we just need to be cautious and cancel TikTok if ever it's needed. I don't want to stretch this podcast too long, and I have some other questions I want to ask, but I think we should reserve that for another episode because it's been an hour of fruitful ranting about TikTok and how cancel culture is needed. Cancelled. If there's anything you want to plug,
This I'm gonna tell to all the creatives out there. Maybe you guys can relate, pero it just takes one. How I describe it, pag kinagat ako ng langgam, parang ganun lang yung kailangan. When I first started everything, it's just like napaniginipan ko lang, and then when I woke up, like I wanna make all these things. So maybe, makakagatin ako ng langgam dyan that will push me to be make a lot of TikTok videos. But anything I wanna plug, I am, as DJ has already mentioned before, I host my podcast also, the Meaning of Life podcast, so you can check it out in Spotify and YouTube. You can follow it on Instagram @_the meaning of life, and on Facebook as well, facebook.com/the meaning of life, or just search the Meaning of Life podcast. It's probably gonna be there. I hope it's gonna be there. I mean, I hope so, bro. Maybe it won't be. I mean, Facebook algorithm. Make sure to say it first before you type it down, so it'll appear, because they're spying on you. So yun, I hope you can like subscribe also to my channel or something like that in YouTube. So yeah, that's basically it. Thanks, DJ,
Alright,
for
everyone.
having me in the creative.
Thank you
Flip.
for being here, and it's important to have that type of perspective in the creative flip. So
Gotta have your perspective.
Gary V. Thank you very much, and that's the creative flip.